This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 25, verse 4. And thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. I'd like to give all praises and glory to Almighty Yahweh Yahushai. I'd like to give all praises and glory to Almighty Yahweh Yahushai. Double honors to Amenity Ames, who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Boaz on the set once again. Now, we know when this thing goes down, you're going to have Yahweh Shai's protection, okay? You're going to have not only the faith of Abraham, but you have to have Yahweh Shai's protection. That's the only way you're going to make it out of here with your life when this thing goes down, okay? So who are the terrible ones? Esau, the so-called white man. He's a terrible one, okay? He's the one that's going to be brought down low. The book of Isaiah, chapter 25, verse 1. O Yahweh, thou art my power. I will exalt thee. I will praise thou's name, for thou hast done excellent and wonderful things. Thou's counsel of old are faithful and truth. For thou hast made a city a heap, of a defensive city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It will never be rebuilt. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee. The city of the terrible nation shall hear of thee, okay? And our God is a consuming fire, okay? Yahweh Yahushai. Nobody punishes like Yahweh Yahushai, okay? Let's get it. Verse 4. Thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy when it is distress, a refuge from the storms, a shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is strong against the wall. Thou shalt bring down the noisy strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible ones shall be brought low. Okay, so the so-called white man is going to be brought low. Okay, and without Yahweh Yahushai, you won't make it out of here with your life. Okay, when this thing goes down, like we discussed on multiple occasions. Okay, it all starts and ends with Yahushai. The book of Psalms 2, chapter 12. Chapter 2, verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him, okay? So blessed are the ones that put their trust in Yahweh Yahushai, okay? That's what this is all about, okay? So you have to have a trust in Yahweh Yahushai, okay? Against this devil, the so-called white man. Okay, let's get it. The book of Amos, chapter 9, we'll start at verse 10. Hey, let's start at verse 9. Chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among the nations, like as a corn is sifted from a sleeve. Yet shall not the least grain fall on the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Okay, that's dealing with the so-called Illuminati. Okay, these Freemasons. Okay, these Jakes that join these Freemason lodges. Okay, they saying that when this thing goes down, it's not going to overtake or prevent us. But they're wrong. Okay, when does the devil ever keep his promise? Okay, they're going to go down too. Verse 11, In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of the heathen which he calls by my name, said Yahweh, that doeth this. Okay, so we're gonna possess the so-called white man. Okay, we're gonna possess the so-called white man in that day. Verse 13. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the reaper shred out the grapes that save the seed, and the mouth sweet wine, and the hill shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the old waste, the inhabitants down, and they shall build vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their own land, and they shall no more be pulled out of their land, which I have given them, said Yahweh power. Okay, so that's what this is all about. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, that habitation is high, that say in thy heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay. That's the so-called white man. The so-called white man thinks that he's never going to go, he's never going to get put out of power, okay? When this thing goes down and this man finally gets put out of power, all nations are going to be like, oh my God, the so-called white man's not in power no more. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, okay? Destroy them, okay? That's what this is about, okay? They're going to say, oh my God, the so called white man's not in rulership anymore. He lost power. Wow. Wow. I can't believe the so called white man's not in power no more. Verse 4. Thou have exalted thyself as an eagle, as though thou set thy nest among the stars, the satellites and space stations. Thence will I bring thee down, said Yahweh. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, oh, how art thou cut off? Would thou only have stolen till they had enough? If the grave gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are the things of Esau sought up? All those men of confederacies have brought thee even to the borders. The men that have a piece of thee deceive thee, they have prevailed against thee. They that dwell eat thou's bread and lay in the womb under thee. There is none that understands and no understanding in him. That's talking about Russia, all these EU nations, they're gonna drop missiles on the so-called white man when he goes down. Okay, they're gonna drop missiles on this place. Okay, and if you want to make it out of here with your life, you have to do what? You have to call on the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, so you can make it out of here with your life when this thing goes down. Okay, this thing is going down. Okay, and you want to make it out of here with your life when this thing finally goes down. The book of Isaiah, chapter 25, verse 6. And this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto these people a feast of things, a feast of wine, a feast of lees, of fat things, of marrow, of wine on the lees, well refined. And he shall destroy in this mountain the cover and cast over all the nations, and the vein that shall spread over all the nations. Okay, so that's what he's going to do. That's Yahweh Yahushai. The so-called Illuminati, they call it double speak. Okay, there's no such thing as a Chinese or Japanese. Okay, that's Moab. Okay, and that's the Ammonites. Okay. And so the big ones, the so-called white man, he called himself a European. No, they're Edomites. Okay, that's who they are. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, 28, verse 6. For for a spirit of judgment to him that sits forth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle at the gate. Okay, we in what's that talking about? We in a spiritual war here. Okay, it's a spiritual war. Okay, we already got the victory in Almighty Yahweh Yahushai. Okay, we just gotta play this thing out. Okay, and keep posture and keep calling on the names of Yahweh Yahushai and keep pushing this doctrine out there. Okay, that's our main goal and our main job. Just keep pushing this doctrine. The book of Isaiah 28, verse 15. Because thou hast said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell that we are in agreement. When the overflow scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and as falsehood we have hid ourselves. Okay, once again, that's talking about the so-called Illuminati. Okay, these Freemasons. Okay, these Jakes are joined onto these lodges, and they think they're not going to be touched. Okay, not so. They will be touched. They're going to be destroyed. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 29. This also comes forth from the Yahweh of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel and excellent in working. Okay, one moment. Give me a second here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 13. But the word of Yahweh was like them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. Okay, here a little, there a little. Okay, a little bit from the Old Testament, a little bit to the New. Okay, a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay. The book of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 16. Thou terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thy heart that dwells in the clefts of the rocks, that hold the height of the hill, thou that shouldest make thou's nest as high as the eagles, I will bring thee down from thence, say Yahweh. Okay, that's a so-called white man. His terribleness have deceived him. Okay, he thinks that, oh, by my power and my strength I did it. No, Yahweh Yahushua been guiding this man. Okay, and allowed this man to have success. Okay, and so his terribleness have deceived him. The book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked power says, what do thou declare my statutes? Or what do thou take my covenant thou mouth? Seeing you hate instruction and hate cast my words behind thee. When thou seest a thief, thou consented with him. And when thou's been partakers with adulterers, thou givest thou's mouth to the evil, and the tongue frameth to speak. Thou sittest and speak against thou's brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. These things have that I have done, and I kept silent, though thou myself was altogether such as one thyself. Let's read it from the top. These things thou done, I kept silent, though thou that I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thou's eyes. Okay. The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 25. And suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon thee from power, from thou's enemy that has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck. Okay. So the so-called white man is going to be destroyed. The book of Isaiah 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh's weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Verse 9. The book of Isaiah 13, verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate and to destroy the sinners that are out of it. Okay, it's not God don't hate the sin; He hates the sinner. Okay, the Christian church say God don't hate the sinner; He hates the sin; He hates the sinner. Okay, and the scriptures say He's going to destroy the sinners that are out of it. Okay, that's what this is all about. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined unto them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob, and the people shall take and bring them into this place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh will give thee rest from thy sorrows and from thy fears and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou mayest take up the proverb against the king of Babylon, saying, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. Okay, the so-called white man, that's what the whole planet is going to say. Wow, okay, I can't believe it. I can't believe the so-called white man fell out of power. That's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, I can't believe Yahweh Shai took the so-called white man out of power. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 29. This also cometh from Yahweh of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel and excellent working. Okay. This also comes from Yahweh of hosts, who's wonderful in counsel and excellent in working. Okay, one moment. See if I can find this scripture here. Okay, just give me a second here. See if I can find this scripture here. Just give me a moment. Bear with me. the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refined myself. When I cry like a traveling woman, I will destroy and devour thee at once. I will make waste our mountains and our hills, and I will dry up the herbs, and I will make those rivers an island, and I will dry up the pools. Okay, so for a long time, Yahweh Shai been inactive. Okay, so they thinking that Yahweh Shai won't do nothing. Okay, that's what they thinking. They think that Yahweh Shai won't do nothing good or bad. Let's get it. Turn to the book of Zephaniah. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will send Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are set on their leaves, that they say in their heart, Yahweh will neither do good, neither will Yahweh shall do evil. Okay, so that's what they saying. Okay, they thinking Yahweh shall won't do good, neither Yahweh shall will do evil. Okay, this is not so. Okay, Yahweh shall is gonna come. He's gonna destroy this place. The book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left from the nations which came against Jerusalem, even shall come year to year to worship the King of Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whosoever shall not come up of the families of the earth unto Jerusalem and worship the King Yahweh of hosts, even unto them shall be no rain. And if the families of the earth do not go up and come up and have no rain, this shall be the plague wherein Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And this shall be the punishment of Egypt, the punishment of all nations that come not up to the Feast of Tabernacles. And that day there shall be on the bells of the horses holiness unto Yahweh, and the pots in Yahweh's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in the Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto Yahweh of hosts. And they shall sacrifice and shall come up and take up them that sees therein, and in that day there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts. Hopefully you was well edified. I'd like to give all praises and glory to Almighty Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.